Well, and that's why I wanted to ask you questions. Well, because you just don't ever know, like, how much time we have on the planet, ever. You know?
Like those people on both those planes,
Oh my gosh.
getting on a plane, happy, taking nice selfies, and going home after your big event, and your whole family's gone.
I saw a video of a guy. He was talking, the toast theory. Have you heard of, like, the burnt toast theory or something? It's like you talk about it in so many different ways. Where if there was, for some reason, the plane was delayed and everybody was kind of like annoyed or whatever, nobody knew it was wrong. If they had been like 5 minutes earlier, that
Right.
could have been him. So for whatever reason, that's why he was on. They were delayed for a reason, So like it's like everything happens for a reason, even when we're frustrated about it. But he was on that plane. Nobody knew what was going on. They had to go to a different the other DC airport, and
This is a different flight, or this
a
is
different flight
Oh, God.
that could have potentially been them. And he was on the flight with a dad whose daughter was the stewardess on that plane, and just seeing the dad he was in shock. Like they couldn't find, they had no idea what was going on, so they're sitting there for like all this time trying to figure it out. And then when he said it, he's like, I'm just in shock right now because I just watched a guy who found out.
His daughter was.
Yeah.
Just don't, and that's why it was like, we're just gonna go. It's crazy. We keep, why do we have to wait for a diagnosis? Whatever, just go. I haven't seen her in how many years? 8 years, 7.
Well, and
Anyway,
and then it makes
Jeff.
you treasure so much of the memory. Like, I have so many memories, even with Aunt Ro too, or even with the memories I have with Nana. Like, I think about like just who she was, and Aunt Ro, like, so many amazing memories. So you still have a chance to make more memories now, So
Yeah, and to, because once they're gone, I can never ask them. They're the source of all the history of the family and everything. So
even
you
if
don't know.
Pop Up made it up, it was still a source.
Yeah, you know what it is. Well, even like this, even recording this, because someday, this will, maybe your great grandkids will see this.
This is a piece
We'll
of
say
history.
hi to them. Yeah. Because it'll be, that's the cool thing about the digital world. I mean, it's got its negatives and its positives, but there's so many more. Like when I grew up, there's just very little documented.
Oh my God.
There's
It's so
so
hard
few
to find
pictures.
anything. That's why when we find something, it's like, oh my gosh, look, here's a report card from back then.
Yeah.
Like,
just
and
nothing was digital.
that's why
there's not a lot of
I literally
copies.
take pictures of everything of my kids, because at least if I lose the paper, I have a picture of it.
No, it's the way to do it. Like that's, you have it to have a photo album anymore is kind of weird.
It's like it takes space.
Yeah. I mean, people don't look at them. I mean, they're nice to look at, but it's not common.
It's nice to have, I guess.
Yeah.
It's still.
Yeah, it is. Plus you take thousands more pictures on your phones. People take, so many more on their phones anyway. But to have all that digital, in digital form and the report cards and the historical stuff.
And it's so funny because people always I avidly take videos, even if they're very stupid. I don't care. All day long, I'm filming whatever, random parts of the day, and people are always get annoyed with me. But then it's my favorite part is seeing it like 5 years later and being like, oh, like, remember that day? And I was so glad that I have it, because even if I thought I was I'm not scared to annoy people anymore. I don't care. If you don't want to be filmed, I won't put you in it. But
Yeah.
I don't care what you think of me anymore.
Yeah, it's nice it's part of life, and it's great to have, because, I just look back on, so much of my mother I would love to have. I have very little of her on video. And, it would be just such a gift. And anytime I see a picture that somebody brings back of her that came from time, or just having her be on some form of video would have been so cool. I do have some, we have some of it, but not a lot. Back the old 8mm, the 8mm video stuff.
It's so funny, like moving, right? So I've been moving, and I have a lot of stuff. I like stuff. I mean, I like to keep. I hold a lot of sentimental feelings towards my stuff, like weird things. But I don't want like of Nana because I don't have like videos and stuff of hers. So even if it's a plate, literally a Tupperware that Melinda was like, get rid of this, and I was like, no, I have the lid in a different box, and I'm really glad I found the bottom part.
Tupperware.
It was my Nana's. I
Yeah,
want to keep
yeah.
her Tupperware.
Yeah, you can't even get Tupperware anymore. Tupperware was the thing. Yeah. Like the
It was
actual
like
Tupperware.
nice Tupperware. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'm keeping
Yeah,
it.
she used to have Tupperware parties. I think they used to sell. That's how they only used to sell Tupperware.
I think so.
I think it was like like
MLM.
maybe it was like I don't know if it was MLM or just they only sold it that way. Maybe it was. I don't know. I just remember she said the girls are coming over tonight. We're having a Tupperware party, and she would get a bunch of Tupperware.
And then on the lid of it, she like wrote on it, so it's like a piece of history in my.
Oh, she wrote right on it.
Yeah.
I'm like in a Sharpie. My grandma used to put a piece of masking tape, the beige masking tape, and then write on that. Like she'd put gravy in the whenever it was made and freeze it. Her gravy, which is not it's not brown gravy. It's Italians call it.
I even have
red gravy.
like her.
It's red sauce gravy.
Yummy. That sounds good. You get me hungry. I found her like this makeup compact case that obviously I'll never put on, but it still was makeup that she touched and she had
Whose?
in her your mom's.
Nana's
Yeah.
makeup, some of her makeup,
Yeah.
really
And
still around, huh?
I took
25 years later.
I took it
26
when you guys were all going through the house. I took that myself because I thought it was cool.
Wow.
And like nobody knew I took it because I was scared somebody would have been like, "No, I want that." So I took it, and I still have it. Like,
Wow.
And it makes me happy to know, like that was something she used in her. She used that. She actually used that makeup.
What were you, 7 or 8?
I think like I was about to turn 8 because it was like May.
Oh yeah, she died May 7th. You were May 26th.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're about to turn 8. Yeah. Oof, that was a crazy time. Yeah, remember that real well. The day.
I remember. Yeah, that was crazy too.
The day she went to. Yeah, and you were escorted out to go have
With
fun
Lydia.
somewhere. To go.
Yeah, we
Who were you
played
with?
mini golf.
Oh, is that what you guys wanted to do? They said have the kids go. Yeah, and then she died that Sunday. It was a Sunday. I think it was. A Sunday.
And then we like walked back in, and the whole it was a very bizarre feeling because like you knew something was wrong. Like I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know. Well, I mean, I knew, but like you don't want to know,
Yeah.
And it's weird because it should have impacted a lot of people's lives, and it's that's what's so scary about life is. So I thought back then, like I thought about her being 58 years old, and I thought 58. Oh, that's old. Not old, but now I look, you're over 58.
Yeah.
And you're young.
Yeah, just think how young she was. I know, because even at the time I was 30 something, but still thought didn't know what it was in relationship to reality. Like I didn't know how young it really was.
Right.
It was young because like a lot of people saw their mom, and I didn't have my mom, so that sucked. And yeah, that is young. So especially that I made it to that and then past that, and to think how I feel now, how
How young
like it's
you
just
feel.
you're right. It's just like yeah, it was really sad. I remember when she got the diagnosis that it was terminal and that it was that there was not much more they were going to be able to do. She was not going to outlive this. Like it was the doctors speak very, like, no, this is you're going to die soon. Like this is kind of how it was put to her. And I remember her reaction when she heard
Wait,
that.
was that the first time? Like, because I remember she was diagnosed. And
No, but then they resected it, and we thought this is great. They got it.
I remember like
it's all
celebrating.
good. Yeah. And they got it. The surgeon did a great job, and you think it's all good, and then of course she had some problems with one of her legs, and like testing it out, and they somehow recognized that the cancer cells had gone into her spinal fluid. So it was, in her brain, circulating in her brain, and that's why her mobility, her legs, she started losing motion in her legs because the cancer was in her
Oh,
brain.
that's why
and-
she was in the wheelchair.
Yeah, because she couldn't, the cancer had spread. So, and once it had gotten to that point, they were like, well, we can, give you chemo, which is just going to keep it at bay for a little bit, but it also kill you at the same time because it's, really toxic to your system. It was.
Did she do the chemo?
She did. In fact, she did.
Did she?
She did it only. She did it. She was like, I'm going to fight this. I'm going to do whatever I can for us, and she got the last one, and I kind of regretted that we did that in the last one because it also knocked her down, like it really kicked her ass. She got one on Thursday. She got one on Thursday, and we went to the mall after that, Coastline Mall, and we all went with her, and we had to, after the chemo we left, and we're kind of shopping in the mall in a wheelchair, and she had her wig on, and there was a table full of ties, and I was just taking a look at them, and I found one that I liked, and she's like, oh, do you want that? I'll buy that for you. I'll buy that for you. I was like, no, Mom, you don't have to buy that for me. No, she really wanted to buy it for me. And I was like, no. I didn't want anything for me, and that I just wasn't thinking. And I was like, no. I mean, right now, I really wish she wanted to give me a gift. Like she wanted to do something for me. And I was like, no, I don't do anything for me. But she wanted to buy me that tie. But we shopped or we did whatever. And
So you're not good at accepting things. You're like, no, don't buy me.
well, yeah. And she just wanted to do something. And,
right. It's hard to let people do,
and I just,
especially when you were there taking care of her.
right. It was about her. But I just remember that moment because then that was like kind of the last day. Like then we took her home and she went to sleep that night and pretty much didn't ever regain consciousness again. She was unconscious or just, sleeping or in the process of dying for the next 3 days because she died on Sunday after that. So that was kind of the last event together. And then, she was in the bedroom and not, sleeping or, breathing heavily. And then she had this like breathing it's called the death rattle, which I didn't know because Dr. Spano would come over and look at her and, to see what was going on. And, he said, it's only a matter of time. He kept saying, and we said, well, can you do something about the gurgling? Cause it sounded like she couldn't breathe.
I remember that.
And it's
like
whatever
that.
the congestion in the lungs or
that.
whatever. And he said, it doesn't bother them. He said, I think he put some type of vacuum on it
It was like the,
kind of get it out.
I know exactly.
He said, but it doesn't bother them. It bothers us more than it bothers them. We're going through that process. And I couldn't be in a room with her a lot during that time because it was too hard to see her that way. Like,
because that was she was just so beautiful. And here she's just
it
this
felt
took her down.
like she was suffering, like I didn't want to see
took
that.
her down, and here, and to hear that, and I'm like, ugh.
And so my sisters were in there more, and then she went on that Sunday. I don't remember the whole thing, and you guys were out, and then there were so many people there, and so much going on. But yeah, so anyway, I wish I had more video of her, like that. So I'm happy we have this too.
Do you feel like since that has medical treatments changed at all? Like if that was to happen today, would it still be the same thing?
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, lung cancer's pretty aggressive, pretty hardcore. I mean, there's not a lot that I know of. I mean, I don't know. I don't study it a lot, but I don't think so. Like lung cancer is it's one of those deadly ones. It's hardcore. And I don't think there's a lot once you get it, I don't think there's a lot they can do that is going to keep it from doing what it does. Other cancers, yeah, but I don't think that one, no. But I'm not a doctor. I'm married to one, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, stress and cigarettes, play a part of it. She cared so much about so many people and was stressed in a lot of ways. I know she was because she was so thoughtful and kind and loving and thinking about others all the time. And I know that stressed her. I feel like, some of her stresses in her life on top of, because look at my dad, he smoked 10 times more than her.
Right.
We all thought he smoked and drank, and we thought he was die way before she would. And he outlived her. He outlived a lot of people.
He hung on for even when we thought he was.
Yeah.
But that's so true because I feel like it's a change. Like he was stubborn, and he didn't give a crap about it. So that's where he was. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that plays some part of it. So
Well, and I can imagine, because it really is a hard place to be, like, as she's Robert's wife, or even I've lived it in my life, knowing it's a really hard role to be in, where you have all these people's opinions or thoughts, or your husband is doing XYZ. Like, there's just a lot that goes into the role of her life, So I can't imagine, especially when you are a caring person, it's it. She didn't have any resources of how to manage that. It was like back in the day, like that's just what you just dealt with it and
Yeah.
didn't talk about.
Well, yeah.
You know.
She's married to an alcoholic,
Right.
and codependency and all the stuff we know about it psychologically now, and all the help for that. But there was definitely, we went to counseling together. It was codependency. We went to a lot of stuff. Al-Anon.
Oh, you did with your mom?
Yeah. We did some counseling. Some of the, they split up a lot in the later years. They would break up. They always loved each other, but they split up. They would not be together, but still be married. And and she would go. We would all go together. I remember some going to therapy as a group, or as a family. I think that four of us went.
Oh wow!
But it. I don't know how much that helped her or didn't help her. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she was always smiling, always happy, always just it's my mommy. My mommy always, she was always that way with me. I was her mama's boy. So
I know. I remember hearing that. Voicemails. She was
my son.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it sucked when she died. She was my champion. She's my cheerleader. I could do no wrong for an Italian mom. So
it's interesting, and I think about like my brother Robert. I think about everything that he's gone through, and he's always said like he wants like us to be like a family or whatever, like all the things he felt we didn't have in our family, like the sense of like unity, love. We kind of, and I was thinking about it, we kind of lost a lot of that when your mom did pass away, because before that, she was like the anchor, the glue that held that together. That's why we had dinners all the time. That's why we were there. Yeah. Like she was that part of our family. And then after that, it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, what now?
Yeah, she was the tradition and the dinners and the meals and the togetherness and the holidays and the. Yeah, true. I mean, she was that, and well, I mean, we had a lot of dysfunction in our family, so
we did. Not
carried
that
it right
would have
on.
made it any better, but just
not blaming anybody for that. I'm just as responsible. I'm not saying that's anyone's soul, but I know there was dysfunction. I mean, learned about it later, but.
I mean, but everybody has dysfunction, so it's not like it's just somebody. Everybody's got. Well, I mean, some probably more than others, but at least we had each other.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it made me who I am today, made you who you are today.
Yeah.
So
I'm great.
Don't have any regrets about it.
I'm very proud. I love I'm not angry at anybody. We're all just people.
Yeah. And you get what you get, and you got to, work with the cards you get.
Choose what's
you gotta
works
work.
best
Here's
for your
the cards
life.
you're dealt. And
Yeah.
You got to make it work like that. So, yeah, don't, they say that people in dysfunctional families or children who are raised in dysfunctional families do very well in business, do very well in as entrepreneurs, because they have dealt with such extreme circumstances from one day to the next in their lives. There's not a lot of stability in a highly dysfunctional family. And that's a lot like running a business, because there's definitely not a lot of stability in running a business.
Exactly, I know. It's like, okay, this is how this morning's going to go.
Yeah, just a perfect example is today. Like I wake up and somebody has turned in their key and said goodbye. Wasn't on the schedule for today. Didn't know that was coming, but those things happen. Or we got your AC in, but somebody stepped on your copper line and it's going to be another $1,100.
I was so that's why I didn't tell you. I waited till I'm learning. I was like, oh God, I can't deal with that right now. So I waited till the end, and I told the guy, I was like, don't send the invoice to the accounting. Send the invoice to me. I'll tell him later, because
Yeah.
because I was like, regardless, we have to get AC, and we'll figure that out later. But
Yeah. Well, it's just
the name of it, that's the game. That's
what it is.
That's
It's what it is. It's,
life
it's
of being
always
in
going to
a
be
business.
something. Every
Yes.
day, there's always something. It's never, So a dysfunctional background is helpful with stuff like that because it's, there's not a lot of certainty in the way life goes anyway. You know that.
And what I'm learning in my, I'm now 32 or whatever, and it's so interesting because everybody always said it's amazing how our brain, they say like you're still like something just clicked when I turned 30, and now I've been like on this whole journey in life of but I'm figuring out that it's all in how you like before when things like that would happen, oh my gosh, it would ruin my whole like I could not, I could handle it, but I couldn't take care of myself too. So it was like I can handle this, but I'm not going to handle this, or like balance. And I'm figuring out how to. It's all about how you manage all this. There's always going to be something. So like, am I going to let that ruin my day, or okay, well, noted. Like now we got to keep going.
Yeah, well, you also have to fill in more roles than most people do too, because being a single mother, your mom and dad, and you're you're taking care of your family, and you're a big part of your mom's life and making sure things are good there, and for a lot of people that you work with, and so you have a lot more than the average mom. You have your little business on the side with your.
That's like my hobby. Something. It's like just little. It's fun. This was on Do Not Disturb, and I'm just gonna turn it off for the moment. It didn't work. It still made noise.
So yeah. I heard it too. It was better than
I was like, oh, I did airplane mode and Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, that is. That's good. It's good to turn them off. I mean, airplane mode. They don't even let it go in airplane mode now because they leave it on the Wi-Fi, so they let it ring. So they want to keep the junky juice going, and you can't even escape it. You got to turn it off.
I mean, it's hard for me to complete a task. I need something in the background while I'm completing a task, for my stimulation. But
yeah, we had the meeting on Monday, and it was the first time since our meeting in August that I had said, okay, put your phones in airplane mode, and we're going to just be with each other, for the next 2 hours. And I hadn't done that since. I mean, I'd talked about it, making it a practice of mine, staying away from the phone more, but hadn't done it where we're going to now take 2 hours and we're going to be together. And it was different because, and even now, there's nothing that's going to burn down in the next, or that I can put out a fire somewhere that somebody else can't handle it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm probably worse at handling. I mean, whoever's dealing with the fire, they might be better with it.
I'll tell you in a little bit. Until I really need your insight.
Yeah, and if I don't have a lot of sleep the night before, or if I haven't eaten, and then I get news like that, and then my emotional Italian side comes out, and I overreact to something that's usually kind of was going to happen anyway, whether I was there or not. And, it's a consequence of whatever else we're doing. So anyway, I'm glad we're here and we get to talk in the new studio that Zach set up nicely. This is awesome. This is really cool. I mean, if they could see the whole setup on the other side that we're looking at, it's really thebomb.com.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe, right? Yeah. Very cool. Looks good, Zach.
Is this the artist?
That's Paul Arsenal. Yeah, that's the man, the guy, the historian, the artist, the champion for the beauty of our beautiful Naples, where we live. That guy's got this tea on everybody in town too. He's good.
I gotta talk to him. It's always fun to
Yeah, he
get
knows.
tea. Oh, jealous. No. Tea is where it's at. That's interesting, though. I bet.
Yeah, he knows a lot about. We could have talked for 6 hours easily. It's great. But that's also why we have this set up, so that people know this podcast setup is for us to get to know the people of the community, the good people of our community, or if anybody else wants to use the studio to talk about whatever it is that they're up to in their businesses or in life. That's what this great studio is for. So we're testing it out right here. Here it is. And we invite people to come be a part of it too. So, we were talking about the number of years that we've been here. So this is our 45th year in business. And last year we saw 21,000 guests. We had 21,000 appointments. So there's so many people and so many lives we interact with and touch and get to be a part of. And there's 60 in our family and 60 on our team, and all the vendors that we work with and the people that we work with, from the UPS guy to Irma in, or who is with Signature Formulations, to all across the spectrum, a lot of people. So we'd love to talk more to more of those people who are a part of what we are and a part of what our culture is and a part of what our family is.
It's fascinating when you hear 45 years. You're like, it's very hard for businesses nowadays. Hair salons, we're a third generation family business, and we've been in Naples for 45 years. And we're still here. And it's really sad. I don't know if you saw there's a barbershop on Fifth Avenue. I know the guy that owns it. They've been there for 74 years. And they're kicking. He's got to go.
He's alive and the same guy?
It's the third or fourth generation.
Wow.
So, but something happened with the landlord.
That's the one by the old ice cream shop, probably. I think it's the only barber shop I know down the little hallway there.
Yes, down the little hallway. Matt is his name. It was just they put it on. He's putting it all over. So that's why I was like, we got to talk about it, because even Wink News just covered it. But think about 74 years.
Wow,
is a long time.
Jeez, it's twice. So what are they doing? Are they going to go somewhere else?
No, I don't. I think he is just a little, I think he's a little heartbroken right now. I don't know. He's set up a GoFundMe or something. And because it's just him.
Matt the barber?
Matt, yeah. And he has full custody of his daughter, who's 3, and he's friends with Virginia. And that's how I've met him.
So he's still going to cut hair just somewhere else?
I think so. I don't know. But he's pretty...
if he's got a 3-year-old, he's got to make money.
Yeah, he's going to do something, obviously. I think he was talking about getting a Sprinter van.
I'm surprised they were there that long with the rents that have gone on Fifth Avenue, because how they skyrocketed. So I don't know how he's, it's a miracle they made it to this year. The rents are crazy, especially on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know how either. I can't imagine. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I guess he's talking about getting a Sprinter van or something. I don't know. I just saw the tea on Facebook. So I just thought this town has, even if we're still up and growing, we have a lot of history here still. There's a lot of.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the cool part about it. Cause where I'm from in Philadelphia, I mean, that was a lot of history there.
That's real history.
That's
like
history of the birth of the country history, but still a lot of stuff was going on in the early 19th century in this area that I learned about from Paul. It was cool stuff. So yeah, 45 years for us. And then you say 70 something years for that business. But, it's, somebody had commented, as I was talking about what's different about I was talking about what was different about our company. And I continually have that conversation, because we're a different structured business for the salon industry. And people don't always know that. It's not something we talk about, but it is something, if you look at the longevity of the people that we have some extraordinarily, really talented people that are leaders in the business that have been here a long time. They're so good at what they do. Like they're, just in the top 1%. And we're blessed to have them as part of our family, but they are, I was talking about them on Monday that, how those leaders and those senior master director level stylists, not only are really great at what they do technically, like they're great at hair, but they have that heart and that humility to want to give back and grow the people around them. And they've been doing that for a long time. Somebody put a comment on there because I was talking about in one of our meetings, and it ended up getting posted. I was talking about how we are different, how we work as a team, and how we share guests, and how there's not an internal competition, but yet there is still competition in a way that
It's like
healthy in a way that like somebody great working next to you is gonna
you
cause
wanna
you to
be
grow.
good.
Like
It makes you wanna be better.
sure, it inspires you to
Yes,
grow. So
yes.
it creates a different vibe in the business when there's that team way. And I was talking about that, and somebody put a comment in the video, which was this was by Queer History Punk was her username. Yeah, and it said people want to make their own money, not build wealth for someone else, was the comment. And I get the comment. I understand the comment. And first of all, I think we're building a lot of wealth here. We're not. Salons as a whole are doing very poorly as operational businesses. They've one of the highest failure rates. And that's why many of them have converted to being a rental structure where they're just literally like a landlord, and they rent out spaces. So there's, a lot of independent people working, which there's plenty of room for growth in that. There's plenty of room for people to work there. I'm not saying one's better than the other.
Like we're all what works for you works for you.
There's room for everybody, right?
Yeah,
I'm not saying one's better than the other, and
enough people in this town that
in the world. So there's just fewer and fewer salons that are sticking with the employee-based model because it's very difficult to make and to manage and to run. And a lot of times people are phenomenal hairstylists, and then they open a business, and running a business is different than doing great hair. They're two different things. So with that comment, maybe they work for somebody who was that way. Maybe they work for somebody who, like literally didn't take care of people. In any business, if somebody likes where they are, and I think it's really important for us, we've got to create an environment that people want to be here, that they love being here, that they grow in all ways. And it's super important that they grow financially, they grow emotionally, they grow spiritually, they grow in all ways of life. And if they don't, then, and they're not fulfilled or satisfied in life. I mean, that's why we have people, the average years now is 16 years that people have been here. And you've got people at the top of the scale that's been here 40 something years, 15, 20, 18, so many of them just hit some big milestones. And then even 7, 10, 8.
It's like a badge of honor. People are like, yeah, I've been here. Like, that's what I see. Even the younger ones who, I've been here 5 years. Like, it's like a badge of honor to say how long you've worked here.
Yeah, which is really weird and really unusual to have that type of longevity in any business. But, I think I have to keep making sure that we're evolving and changing and growing so that they can evolve, change, and grow inside of our family and our organization. So, being different is something that, it wasn't always that way because this was the only model, a very similar model to ours years ago. But now so many are going to the model of just rental, and it's a different experience for people. And I have empathy. I certainly have empathy for somebody who thinks, oh, geez, I'm just I'm just giving all my money to somebody else. But literally, somebody who opens a studio or a rental or whatever it is, they're not going to make a lot more money unless they're really good people. Like they think there's like, oh, I did a $300 service, I'm going to get to now I have $300 to go spend. Not really, because you got to pay the rent and the overhead and the insurance and the marketing and all the crazy expenses, like the air conditioning just went, or the supplies just went up. Like the hair color expense right now is so insane. Like the amount of money for hair color now and how much it's gone up in the last. Even gloves, like how they've doubled foil, which used to be $7 a box. It's like $15 a box. It's crazy the way expenses have grown. So, managing that all. So there's a place, for all models of hair salons, and this just happens to be ours, which is
Well,
its own way.
and something that I understand where that person's saying that, because I feel like that is something that is happening in the world today. Is you have like a lot of big corporations, and then you have the people working under them, and it's like, yeah, I'm sure that person really loves making the person at the top all the money or whatever, but like, you have our business. You have to understand. So if you open a business, why are you opening a business? You're opening a business because it's probably something that you like to do, and you want to make money, right? So this is something that we've been in our whole lives. Like his father opened it, who was an artist at hair, and then I've grown up here my whole life, so this was not something that we do to rake in cash. Like, this is our, like, for me, this is my legacy. Like, I'm freaking proud of my grandfather. I'm proud of my family, that's who they are. And I want to honor them and honor his name that's all over, honor his name. And so it is, and I'm the type of human being that I need to be growing, evolving. I have to do that in life in general. Like, so, and that means I need people. I wouldn't be able to be successful at my job unless I had an environment like that, because I wouldn't be able to take, I mentally, I couldn't handle all of the emotions from other people if it wasn't like if I wasn't able to express myself, if I wasn't able to have other people grow with me, I just wouldn't be able to be here. So while yes, that does happen in the world, that is not our purpose. Or
Well, I mean, to be profitable in this business is very, very hard. It is such a struggle, like to be profitable. I mean, the last couple of years have not been profitable at all. We've lost a lot of money the last couple of years, and it's with the economy and the way things are, and people wanting a lot of value for their money. I mean, it's very, very important to deliver something great and make sure that they get more value than what they're paying, so that they say, wow, it's very worth it, whatever that was. But to be profitable really takes a lot. And I think it looks like there's just like so much money, like our rent alone is 12% of sales. So 12% were, most businesses, when you go to business school, they tell you it should be 6%. Okay. So it's 12% off the top. So we're in very expensive places already. And then health insurance went up again this year because we offer health insurance, and the cost of hair color and the cost of people sort of being able to work here. There's a high cost to them to they've got to earn a certain amount to live in this area and to live near here, to not have to drive 80 miles. We have some people who do that a day.
I know.
But so being profitable is, it's for any business, I mean, it's not just ours, but, it takes a lot of work, and that's one of the things we were, one of the campaigns we're on, because we're talking about like 2025 being the best year ever for everybody in our family, everybody in our organization, everybody who comes in here, everybody who touches us. We want this to be the year of all years for people. And that's my promise to people. So there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of work we have to do. We did this check-in this past Monday to, see where we are and what work needs to be done, because we're not on pace to have that happen, and we have to make adjustments. And that's looking at how we do things and how we operate, and are we
Look at our actions. Look at everybody's
are the actions correlate with being the best, doing the best, offering the best, like is the experience extraordinary for people? Is the experience that people are getting here over and above anywhere else they've ever gone? Do they walk in, feel they walk out, when they leave, do they have the experience of, wow, I look gorgeous, I feel gorgeous, I am gorgeous, I'm floating out of here? Like, every guest who comes in, like, have we touched their life that way? Like, whatever it is. And everybody's different, everybody's going to want something a little bit different, but can we deliver that on everybody? And what actions do we need to take to make that happen? Are what we're looking at on a daily basis, not just at the end of the week or the end of the month. We look backwards and say, did we do it? No. Did we do it today? Did we blow the doors off everybody, make their world extraordinary?
And sometimes it's really hard. to look at yourself and be accountable. And sometimes that's hard for certain people. It's hard for me. Like, but I later on, I appreciate it. And in that moment, sometimes things sting a little bit when you're like, hey, like, here's all you're doing is saying, here, this is your results or whatever. Here's your numbers. And, what do you think about that? I'm giving an example, but it's hard to like look inward at yourself.
Look yesterday. I said to you, like, okay, where were the 6-step results for everybody yesterday?
And I was like, I failed. I failed. And, it's really easy to be like, oh, well, screw you. Like, not screw you, but you immediately, as a human being, I think it's our natural instinct to get like defensive. Like, oh, well, I didn't know. Or I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Or you didn't tell me. I didn't know I was supposed to do that. But then I realized, like, hello, like, where were you? Where were you? Oh, I was.
You weren't at the meeting
on
Monday.
Yeah, no,
That's
I know.
Yeah, you're off for a week. Yeah.
So I was just.
I mean, it's not a mystery. Like, so that's good.
I know that, but it's like in my head.
That's the good news.
I'm seeing that. It's not easy to realize that, like, oh, I messed up, but you being accountable and then realizing it, you're just so much better. If your goal in life is for growth and success and all that, that's a crucial part of growth is being accountable.
No, and ultimately accountable. That's a perfect word, because ultimately I'm the one accountable. I'm the one who has been allowing mediocrity. So allowing things to just be average, like allowing people to just do a great haircut. Because that's what we promise. You're going to get a great haircut, but we promise more than just a great haircut. We promise, it's an experience for people to come here. And for me not to hold people accountable for delivering that experience, that's on me. Like, why haven't I raised the bar for people to say, like, listen, it's not okay for you to just come in and do status quo. Because people can get a haircut anywhere. They can go to the school down the road. There's 1,000 other places people can go to get a great haircut. And if that's all we're doing, we're just like everybody else. We're not separating ourselves. So it's on me. And that's one of the things I saw is like, I'm allowing this level of, okay, like it's, we have some that are super rock stars and they're always on. And then some that, it comes and it goes.
Days, yeah.
Yeah. And some that are coming up, they're rising stars. So they need a lot of feedback and a lot of coaching and a lot of guidance. So that's on me too, to make sure that we have the structure there for them to grow. And they signed on for here to be a part of something great. They know they have room to grow and they want to be a part of what we're about. So if I'm not, saying, hey, do that, not this, do this, not that. This is how you get better in that area. If I'm not helping to develop them or calling people on that and demanding more of people, then we're not going to have that 2025 being the most extraordinary year.
And here's the thing. I feel like this goes along even with this comment. We spend a lot of money even on our associates program. Like, that's a huge investment for the company. And then for us to turn around and then we don't hold them accountable. And sometimes I feel like what happens is, and I'm talking about over years, like it just, my dad's like so nice and it's hard to call people out. It's really freaking hard to call people out, but I'm like on fire watching him on fire because it's like, hell yeah. Like sometimes I feel like in our business, sometimes maybe we've been taken advantage of sometimes. And sometimes I get it. Like, you don't want to be like, you don't want to acknowledge that because that hurts your feelings too. Like, oh, these people are taking advantage of us. So you just like ignore it and let it happen and be, well, maybe they'll succeed later or whatever. But it's not being accountable. It's not pushing us to the next level that we have to do if we're going to have the best 2025 or become profitable or become a, just.
Yeah. What you said, like, okay, so what does that look like for an associate being held accountable? So like we have these classes that we offer and, they get the class, but then there's so much work that needs to be done in between that, like the work they have to do on the court. And, where we're not holding them to account is saying, all right, did you do the 5 haircuts that you were asked to do between classes? Did you do those or not? Did you do the work? And holding them to account that way, they might have good attendance, but are they doing the work in between? And that's something that we have to, make sure is getting done, because those that want it, like accountability is really big. And it's a nice word right now, but it just means, like did you do what you said you were going to do? And if you didn't, did you come forth with that and say, I didn't do it, but I'm recommitting. I'm gonna get it done here, and not just like hiding it, or, and us like as a body, just not letting anybody off the hook, because we're a very nice culture, and you could do that nicely. You don't have to do it with anger or with fear or intimidation.
You're
it's just
so
like we're trying to make
because you are so powerful, so I'm excited. Like, I was excited to see even last night, like, just that you're on it, because there's a lot of things that other people, like, Jen can say to somebody or something, but it just gets done a lot faster when it doesn't have to be a big thing. You're so powerful of a person and then what happens is we allow mediocrity from somebody that we probably know isn't ever gonna become one of our top, we allow that for a long time, or they stop coming to class or whatever. And then eventually 2 years down the road, they don't end up working out here.
And we knew it. And we knew it anyway. And we just didn't address it.
3 years,
yeah. You talk about, you said something about people taking advantage of something. So one of the videos that we posted recently was talking about our guarantee, was talking about our product guarantee, which, we've always said with our line, we have our own product line, which is an extraordinary line of phenomenal hair products, which you can't get on Amazon. You can't get them anywhere else. You get them just with us. It's our line, developed by us, developed by our team, and part of who we are, our brand, our way, and what we know works. And we have always had this promise to people that use it as much as you want, as long as you want. We guarantee it for the lifetime of your lifetime. Now lifetime, there's guarantees out there now that say this is guaranteed for life, but the life, they put an end to life. Yeah, they call it life, but it's not your life.
That's
it's somebody else's life. It's a really weird thing that they do, but we mean, like, you could bring this back at any time without a receipt, completely empty. Say you didn't like it. You could even say you liked it and bring it back, but you want to return it.
Right.
And that's part of what we promise people. The world is so cynical and so caught up, and you got 30 days to bring it back, and you better bring your receipt, and or people are going to take advantage of you. So I was sharing about our guarantee on one of these clips, and somebody said, yeah, that woman, just because I talked about the woman who
brought product back.
Brought a product back 10 years later.
That's happened more than once too.
Yeah, it has happened, but not a lot.
Maybe
considering
like 3 times.
Not a lot, and it's still available to people. And if people want to do it, that gives us more to talk about.
Course over, yes.
The one product.
Content.
The only reason why I knew what it was when she bought it, because it was back in the day where you had to put the labels with the label gun on the bottom of the product.
Yeah, like
the little grocery store sticker at the bottom, and it had $7.35 on the bottom, and she returned the finishing spray, which we still sold at the time, but it had gone up to $14.50 or $14.95, and she returned it, and we gave her $14.95 back because, we didn't have any record of how much she paid. I didn't know she paid that amount on the bottom, or whoever took it in didn't know. They just gave her back the amount. It was in a different packaging and everything at the time. And somebody put a comment after they heard about that. They was like, oh, that woman's just scamming you. She's just ripping you off. Well, maybe so. But why do we have to punish all the rest of the people in the world? How many women have so many cosmetics under their sinks at home that they'll never touch again, that they bought once, didn't like it, didn't work, and it just sits under there.
It's waste.
Everyone has that.
We're consumerists.
So why can't we say, listen, if you don't like it, sometimes they'll even forget to bring it back. You didn't bring it back, but you didn't like it, so we're going to give you your money back, or we're going to give you a replacement for it. Yeah, there's people who are going to take advantage of that, but it's so few and far between, and so it's not necessarily, we don't have to make a rule or a policy around those couple of people.
Well, and I feel like in the world today, there is so much of what's happening right now with the social media and the internet is that the workers, or like the other side, is getting a voice. So for a long time, it was always, the customer's always right? So that's like, now in today's world, the business has a voice to stand up for themselves.
Sure.
So people are like, hell yeah, that scammer, and there is so many scammers. So people are actually rooting for businesses now in that aspect. Like Costco, Costco also has they have the you can return at any time policy as well. They're probably one of the only few companies left that actually have that. But so this, and they're supposed to accept it. Well, this girl brought a couch back after like 5 or 6 years or something, and the manager said, "No, I'm not taking it back," and it went crazy viral because technically he's supposed to take it back, but he was like, and everybody was like, "Yeah, way to go! Like, give him a raise." He said no. So,
well, that was real. That wasn't that guy who does the joke ones that he dresses up like the real thing.
No,
that was a
that
real
was
one. Okay,
real.
there's a guy who does really good videos. It looks like he's the real thing, and he's doing phony
no,
things.
this was like on the news afterwards.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and so it's just interesting. However, like, but there's so much of that angst and like ready to protect our business and protect ourselves that like, what if we did like people even what if we are wrong, like even with our services. I always tell everybody all of our services are 100% guaranteed. If you're not happy, I will not take your money, or I will give you your money back, and I will give you a lot more because I want you to be happy. Like, I really want, if a guest is coming here, I want you to have the experience that we set up for you to have.
But people don't know that. I mean, people don't, that's not ordinary. Like, people aren't used to that. They don't know that coming here. Or
That's
going
why
to
I
any
even
business.
say it on the phone.
Yeah.
But we don't say it enough because I feel like it's such a scary thing going to a salon, any salon. Like, what if you don't like your hair and you're out $500 or something? You know, like, no. I would. Well, it needs. I want you to know from the beginning. If you don't like it, it's okay. If you don't like it, please tell us. There's no.
Tell us. Tell us. We'll make it right. We'll make it right. 40 people that will help you get it right.
We'll make it right, and that's But what was interesting? So, I just have to tell a really quick story. So my brother Robert, he when he first he worked at. He has like he went to school at USF. Then he worked at Shula's and high-end dining, and then after COVID he stopped doing that, and he had always done like odd end jobs for us here, but
Nabisco.
I forgot about Nabisco. And then so like he helped my dad with payroll in high school, stuff like that, or bringing product stuff places. So he came back and over the summer we're always trying new marketing stuff. We're always trying new things to see whatever works. And during the summer, since we do pay our staff hourly and salary, we can do stuff like this. We did a princess treatment thing where we gave all little girls a complimentary haircut or blow dry, and
Deep conditioning treatment.
we
tinsel.
made it like
Treat them like princesses for
The
their
bee's knees.
self-esteem, boost their self-esteem, and make them feel pretty.
we
The
did a lot of
princesses.
them too. How
1,000,
many?
1,100
1,100. I mean, it
for
was
free. We
for
did
free.
it that year for free.
no
1,100.
nothing.
Yeah.
So but when we first came up with the idea, my dad we were just playing around because he went to Buff City Soap and he saw little girls having a party or something.
Soap party. Yeah, they had a soap party. There was
And so
actually
he was
they
like,
were
"Oh."
paying to have 7-year-olds have a party making soap.
He's
That's
like,
what I
we
saw.
have all these people, we have all this time during summer. So he put it online and it kind of blew up overnight, more than we anticipated. Like, we got booked quick and we weren't necessarily ready for it here. So like, we weren't ready. We didn't think that was going to happen. So they came in, one of the moms came in with her daughter and she gave us feedback in a mom's group saying, "Oh, it wasn't that great. I didn't have that great of a time because we didn't have all the goodie bags yet and everything." And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like that is not what we promised you." And this is a mom's group with 30,000 people in it seeing that. So, and even if it is free, I still want them to come experience this, because how many people in this town don't know who we are, really, because it's grown so much. And I remember I gave the woman, because we failed, and it's okay. Not everything has to have an excuse of, "Oh, well, it's just that lady's crazy," or whatever. I'm not saying
or
in
it's
that
free. Like, how could you
circumstance.
complain? It's free. Like, how
Like,
could you
oh
complain?
yes,
It's free.
yeah, like you can't complain about something for free. Be grateful. But ultimately, we failed her free activity. We did not do what we said we were going to do.
Right. We promised an extraordinary experience for her little princess that included a goodie bag and they included tinsel, and we didn't deliver it all, and she got a bad
This was
experience,
like
and
the
she wrote
first
about it.
day. This
Yeah.
was like the first day.
Yeah.
And so I went on, and then I'm like, "Oh, well, come back in," and I wanted the mother to come back in, so I gave her like a pretty I think I gave her like a $300 or $400 gift card, and then I wrote publicly to her on the moms group, just to let her know how sorry I was. And my brother, I remember, he was like, "Oh my gosh, you can't do that. Everybody's gonna start saying they hate it now because they're gonna see that." And not one person did that. So not one other person did that, because he that's the background he came from, is where it's like, oh no, they're gonna all scam us, don't do that.
Yeah.
But
And it's the mindset. It's how, it's how most of the world is. Like people think like that. Well, yeah, that's how it's going to be. And that's why places don't offer that, because their fear of that happening. And that didn't happen. Like, you said it publicly to 30,000 other women in the women's group. Hey, we are so sorry. We screwed up. We really did. We promised you a lot more than that. You didn't get it. We learned from it. We know we got to get our stuff
we're
together
actually
here.
super grateful for the feedback.
Yeah, you told us, right? There's that gaff tape.
We made sure, best believe we had party supplies and everything for the rest of the whole time. We went above and beyond.
Yeah, we had some
so
supplies.
that was good feedback.
Yeah.
Feedback's good sometimes,
Yeah,
so.
and to share that publicly, like, hey, this is how we operate, and people don't always know that, and that's something we always have to let people know when they come to see us. It's part of the conversation. We got to let them know, like, we're different. We promise you, please. You don't need to go to Yelp and say how bad your haircut was. You could tell us, and it's okay to tell us, and we're not going to be upset that you tell us. Monday, it came up about redos, about a fear of a redo. Like, there's a fear sometimes from a stylist. They see a redo on their book, like somebody called and wants a few more foils, they want a little more trimmed, like that you screwed up. But maybe it just we gave that guest the fee. We let her know that it's safe to come back if you don't love it.
Grateful that they could.
Most of the time, you think I got to go
They're
somewhere else.
just
I got to
gone.
leave. Like,
Yeah.
if I go have a bad meal somewhere, I'm not telling anybody, and I'm not going back. I know they want to know it, but who do I tell? How do I tell them? Is it okay to tell them?
Karen,
Yeah. And this isn't about there are some guests that we've had to say, we're not for you.
But a handful.
Very, very few out of 21,000, maybe 3 last year, maybe 4.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm thinking maybe even 2 or 3.
So it doesn't happen a lot that you have to say, like, listen, we did everything that we could. We are here for everyone, and we do want to make it great. But sometimes, we just don't have the.
Once you've done so much, and it gets to a point where maybe we're just not a good match. If you've gone to all 3 locations and tried
and gone to our best people, and sometimes people it's just not, or sometimes literally it's just the chemistry is not there with a stylist and a guest, and we didn't do the matchup right, and that happens. That happens. So that's great. Let us know.
Yes, yeah.
Let us know. We're going to do something about it. So what makes it different? And that's a great example of what you used. That somebody saw you gave away $300 because somebody said they didn't get a bag or whatever happened in that experience, and said it publicly. But listen, that's what we mean. We really want people, and why can't businesses operate like that? Why do businesses have to be, the terms of service are changing on everything. You get a new notification every day on your phone that says terms of service have changed. Make sure you sign here. Nobody reads those. And it's scary sometimes because there's actually a business right now, a computer repair business that people are sending in their computers, their broken electronics is what it is. And in the terms of service, it says, if you fail to pick up the product in a certain number of days or whatever it is by when it's fixed, there's a $25 a day fee that you have to pay. So he has a lot of people didn't pick their stuff up, and he's suing. I don't know if it's thousands of customers he's actually filed suit against because they didn't pick up. And one guy had a pair of binoculars that cost him $300. He sent them there to be fixed. The repair was going to be more than $300. He said, you know what? Keep them, throw them away. I don't want them. Now he's being sued for $4,000 for storage fees for the binoculars for $25 a day. Like, how crazy is that? Like, this guy's making a business out of that, kind of scamming people.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was thinking about when you said, why can't businesses do that? And legal. Like, look at the people are suing each other for things.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could sue anybody. And that's what they talk about, legal reform. Like, if you had to, now you could sue anybody and they have to pay their own defense fee. If you actually if you lose when you sue somebody and you had to pay their fees, there would be a lot less suing
Right,
going on. Because
right.
right now, you know, you could sue anybody for anything for 35, you know, you pay the court fee or whatever, and then they have to get a lawyer, which they have to pay for.
Right.
But if you wanted to sue anybody willy-nilly and you had to pay their defense fee, if you lose, a lot of cases going to disappear. But in this particular case, this guy's suing a lot of people, and you know it's terms of service, and that's just bad business practice, period. But you know, you got to look what you sign. You got to look what, you know, the agreement is. You know, now if you book a, and I understand this point for restaurants. If you book on Open Table, and some restaurants, if you don't keep that reservation, if you don't cancel within a certain amount of time, they charge you for that full meal. They charge you like a big chunk.
Oh, I've heard about that
for
actually.
that. So
in
you know,
like New York City though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's
I'm
here
sure-
or not.
no,
I've had it happen to me when I think we were in Vegas. You know, was you better, it kept me from making the reservation because I thought, what if something comes up? You know, I was afraid.
scary.
I didn't want to pay for
Yeah.
that. But I understand that from the business's perspective, you know, you got to do that too. But this is just in general talking about like customer service. Like, okay, maybe the customer's not always right. That may be, but also have some grace for humanity too, because not everybody's out to get you.
And sometimes, like, yes, I know that I think what's happened is that there's so many years built up of like resentment and anger of the customer always being right.
Yeah.
And think about all the people who don't even own the business, who are just up front, who are getting screamed at by somebody like
Yeah.
who the whole time
Yeah, I
really
feel
wanted to
bad.
be
Yeah.
like, screw you, lady, but
Yeah.
didn't. So I think there's a lot of like animosity built up in the world about that. So right now it's really swinging towards that direction, but
Yeah, well, didn't that just happen recently with us? We were gonna threaten to be sued because the haircut
like
was too
3
short.
weeks ago. Yeah.
Because the haircut was too short,
Yeah.
right? We were going to be sued, and she had witnesses that
Witnesses, the
Woman was
guests in the
upset.
salon. Yeah.
upset because
Her hair was cut too short.
she is not to the length that she wanted, and there were messages late at night. I got a call late at night that yeah, Marina was concerned because what do I do with this call? Like, somebody's
Well,
threatening to sue
she
us.
was there during that day when she was here too, so she already knew. She saw it again.
Knew the woman
Yeah.
was upset. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever happened with
We
that?
didn't even charge her. I left her a message.
We haven't heard back.
No.
Okay,
I
we're just
wasn't
waiting
gonna-
for get served the papers.
But unfortunately, we didn't charge her, so she didn't pay.
Right.
So how
no,
could she,
I
you
know. She didn't, and it was with one of our master senior,
So how
very
could she-
experienced stylists. So they had a
It
great
wasn't
relationship.
service that we, I don't know. I don't even know how that all worked. I don't know. But
Oh, one was upset either way and threatened to sue for a haircut. That's a first because I haven't had that before where somebody, you know, we've had colors, you know, hair colors, and somebody said the
other
hairs fall out, you know, things of that nature,
Right.
but not for a haircut. That, you know, I don't know what the what was going on in her life or what was happening.
Like if I don't know. Think about the phone calls late at night. You know, I don't know. It was just bizarre. Maybe she was emotional in that moment.
Just the first in our 45 years, I haven't heard that we were going to be sued for that.
We've
And
been-
that's where people go. You know, that's what people think. So that was a new one out of the 21,000. See, we haven't heard back on that. Well, stay tuned.
Yeah,
Get
I
the tea on
was
that.
hoping we didn't, because that's all me right there.
Got to be getting people with green tinsel. People got to get green tinsel in their hair.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put tinsel.
I
Green.
no,
you know.
yeah, Robert's coming. It might be just me and Robert, but it's a party.
All right, cool.
I'm just kidding.
I can't watch the Eagles with anybody else. I have to be by myself. I can't too emotional. I can't watch them. Like I can't go to a party and I can't do it. When it's the Eagles. If it's another team, I don't care. But when it's the Eagles, I get too personally invested.
I have memories of when I was a child, like of you listening to it on a radio. We were like driving, and he would chew like your fingers apart. Like you'd sit there and be like, "Hang on, like."
Such a bad habit.
You'd be
So
so
bad.
stressed about
over a game. I know. Yeah, I know. That's what happens to me. I know. Like I get too invested. Well, and when they're bad, it doesn't like when they're bad. I'm just not that worried about them winning. But when they're really good, I get too concerned about every play, as if my life is going to change if they lose. It's kind of weird.
That's
but
amazing. I mean, that's interesting. I'm sure there's other people like that. I never thought about that.
yeah,
They get personally invested.
it's very exciting.
But think about the emotions that the football teams elicit in human being, like the connection that it creates.
goes back to the Roman, you know, the the Coliseum in Rome. You know, like
that's
them watching them fight the lions or fight each other in the Coliseum.
gladiator.
The gladiators, you know, they're tearing each other apart and who you want to win. And there's big crowds of people would watch them maul each other. Like, and who's winning? I don't know. I guess it's just a human thing that, you know, it's just football. But although football causes a lot of, people are saying it hurts a lot of people.
It helps a lot of people too.
It makes a lot of money for a lot of people too.
that's what I was gonna say.
Like the Super Bowl. You can't even go to the Super Bowl anymore. It's probably like, it's so expensive and it's all corporate and, you know, I can't, it's not like, not like I ever went. I went one time because I sold Cokes
You did?
when I was in Tampa. Yeah, I used to sell Cokes for the Tampa Bay Bucks when I lived there. And you sell Cokes at the game because you get in the game for free and you made money. You know, like I think it was like, I don't know how much I got paid, but it seemed like it was a good chunk for an afternoon. You get tips and sell the Cokes. And that year, the Super Bowl was in Tampa. So because I was already on the roster for selling Cokes, I got to get in the Super Bowl. And at the time, they didn't have, you didn't check your ID when you went. So I went there for the Super Bowl day. It was the Washington Redskins, when they were called the Washington Redskins before, you know, we're not allowed to call them that anymore.
What are they called now?
Commanders.
Oh.
It was them and the Oakland Raiders because Raiders were in Oakland, I think, at the time. And when I went to sign in the stadium, some guy asked me, random guy trying to buy tickets, asked me if I could get him into the game. And what I did was I knew another person's name who was on the list who wasn't going to be there. And I said, I can get you in. He gave me $500 to give him that name. And then he followed me in. You know, he just gave the name. They don't check your ID. They didn't check your ID at the time. I mean, now it's totally different now.
Yeah, now it's.
But he got in the game and, you know, went and, I don't know, he probably just took the uniform off. They give you a bib and you take the bib off and you just go watch the game from somewhere.
How old were you?
I don't know, 19.
It's
something
weird
like
to
that.
think about you.
So
As an 18-year-old.
but then I sold my Cokes and then, you know, sold a couple trays and then I watched the game. The rest of the game, I, you know, could go wherever I wanted in the stadium. But it was different back then. And I think I was probably rooting for the Redskins at the time. I don't remember. Neither was my Eagles team. But so I did go to a Super Bowl, but I have no desire to go now. What is it, $8,000 a ticket? And it's not the real Philly crowd there. You know, it's different. I mean, there's going to be Philly fans there, but it's not the Philly, you know, like the
I would rather
Delco
be
Philly.
in Philadelphia watching it,
Yeah,
so that if they
yeah,
win,
yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah.
outside and go crazy.
Yeah, it just you see the Delco insanity. Yeah, I think there's some people that died in that last, you know, celebration, which I'm just sad about that. I'm sorry about that, but you know, that's not a representation of everybody there. But people just went nuts.
I want to go this summer. I want to go.
Go to Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Go down the shore.
I haven't gone.
You've never been, yeah.
No, I want to go see like your house and stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think he went last time he went there. Yeah, you got to see it all. Yeah, you were there when you were just, you wouldn't know it. Yeah,
we have videos of that.
We do, yeah. Yep. Yeah, this little baby. All right, what else do we, I think we covered a lot. Yeah, any more you want to talk about?
Really fast. My vase. Remember?
Oh.
What's it called?
I don't know what it's called. The laser.
The laser. And right at this moment, I can't think of what it's called though. A cure. A cure treatment done. So really fast. So
for acne.
Okay, so I had never had acne as a teenager. Like it never did. All of a sudden, I had children, and then turned like 27 or 28, and all of a sudden I got like, and it's also like a nervous habit. I would like pick my face so bad, to the point where I had like scars all over it. And my father has the most amazing wife ever, and she had dealt with the same thing, and it always made me feel like not as alone, because it was always so embarrassing for me to try to have to cover it up and hide it, that I would do it even more, because it was like a shame, you know. It's like a cycle almost. And so she is a doctor, and she found this treatment thing that is like, after you do 4 visits, it's supposed to be like you've done Accutane without having to do Accutane. So it's like a laser,
right?
And so for my birthday last year, she said, I want you to go. And I thought she was joking because it's a lot of money. And I thought she was just saying like, yeah, oh, okay. And then when she was at maybe her second treatment, she was like, hurry up, you need to call and make your appointment. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So then, and I have to say like it has been like life-changing for me, because even the experience of when you go, the people there, that's the only other place I probably felt where I've felt an experience like I feel here. Like, they are just so loving. And
It's a River Chase.
yes, River Chase Dermatology in the Blue Spa. They, first of all, and then you have laughing gas the whole time. The first time was the worst pain I have felt. I would put it up there with childbirth because my skin was so like fresh, because I had picked it so bad that the first time it hurt so bad. Like it was horrible. The angst, but they give you laughing gas the whole time. And I was like even scared, like, I don't know, am I doing too much laughing gas? Now I'm like sit there the whole time and I go to another planet. But it's just funny. But when I'm doing the laughing gas, I always get like super emotional. That's how I want to thank everybody for what they mean to me in my life. And so I'm telling the people, thank you so much. And they were probably
From the laughing gas and the pain together.
probably all the above, yes. And the fact that I was letting somebody see my skin without makeup on, that was a scary thing. And the lady, like, she genuinely cares about. I feel like you could just feel it. Like it's not, and I've gone to so many dermatologists, and I never get they'd give me a cream, like, or put me on some prescription and it didn't work. Or I'd watch so many TikTok videos and nothing worked. So it was quite frustrating. And
you've had your 4th treatment?
Not yet.
You have 3?
I have one more.
And how's it been since the...
I am like, I have noticed it's life-changing. I mean, and I still have one more treatment. And now what we're doing is we're trying, because of like my old scarring, I have like melasma in my skin because we're a little brown. So I have like little brown spots. So I'm on all these 2 other things to even my skin tone out. And it's working. Like it peels off.
Looks great. Face looks great.
Yeah,
Looks
and
very pretty.
even now, like when I do have something, like it's just not a whole big thing where I have a massive cystic acne on my face. And so I am so eternally grateful for Shanna at River Chase Med Spa and all the girls that work with her, and for his wife.
Yeah. What's the technology? What is it?
It's called a Cure, ACCURE. They have the only machine in the state of Florida.
In the state.
Yes.
Wow.
And now so the first time the pain was super bad. It's not like that for everybody, because after that one, I researched it and it took me a long time you're supposed to go a month later. I was too scared to go back. So I kept pushing it out. I was fearful of that again. But now it's not like that for everybody. I've researched and found all these, not everybody has that feeling that I felt. I think it was just because my skin was so fresh. And now I have it down where it doesn't, before, it's so funny, like they're giving me the laughing gas. This is just what I do as a human being. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to take too much of their laughing gas, because what if they think I'm trying to take all their laughing gas? Like in my head, I'm doing this to myself. No, she was like, please do it the whole time. I want you to have a lot, because it works. That's the whole reason it's there.
Yeah.
And it does work. And then I just close my eyes and go to another planet.
Yeah, your face looks great. Really looks fantastic. Yeah, we'll have to go back and look at some of the other videos to see if they could see the difference. I can see it really looks good.
Even if you go, it's just, and I really follow, like I have to invest, I have to pay for, I'm not going to give it up. I have all my face wash and all the stuff that she wants me to use, and I don't care. That's an investment. I'm doing that because it works.
Yeah, you got to take care of it now. You just invested in your beauty.
That's but I think about it. That's like with hair.
Yeah.
like products. Like she
Yeah.
says what she
Gotta
wants
use
me
the
to
right
use,
stuff. Yeah.
and I use
Listen. Yeah.
it. Like I won't use anything else.
Yeah.
Like
Good.
so it's it just works. So I'm very
Well, good. This is the
grateful.
year, 2025 is going to be the best year ever of your life. So it's a good start.
Yes. Yeah,
Good
it
start.
really is.
Good.
It's awesome. Awesome.
Good. And you're in
Yeah.
your new home. And
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to come over.
yeah, I'm waiting for the invite.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to come over? No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah. I'll be there. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
So River Chase. All right. Anything else?
So so I'm trying to think about how I can, so I guess I wanted to make it like a very raw, like asking you questions, because I feel like a lot of the world doesn't always understand, like there's always all this thoughts behind like owners or CEOs or the people at the top, but like that's you're at the top, like there's so much more behind everything that you've gone through in your life that has made you you and where you're at. Like I don't know. And then I see Robert and I think about, is that how Robert felt like, or is that what it was like for you? And I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I can transition. I just want without making it super long or anything. What was it like for you with your dad? Just really fast. I know you might have to cut that part because I was thinking out loud for a moment. What was it like for you growing up with your dad, and you didn't do hair, and he was so hard on you? I can only imagine he was so hard on me. And then with your sister, how did you just handle that and still come out here today being where you are? Like, how did you I feel like you went through a lot that you don't always.
Well, I don't know. I guess now that he's gone, he's in heaven, like I have an appreciation for what I went through, like maybe I bitched and moaned about it during the time when he was being who he was, because he had a certain expectation level of everyone around him, and everything that everyone around him did. And, it's just the way he was. I really didn't fully appreciate the way he was until I discovered Sebastian Maniscalco, and I saw him do comedy sketches about his relationship with his dad and what his dad was like, because his dad's an old school Italian. He's also a hairdresser. The way he talks about how just his dad was always busting him, just always hard on him, just always like it was never good enough. But there was something to say about that, because it forced me to be a certain way. Like, I'd always have the doubt, is it going to be good enough? Is it going to be good enough? Probably not, because he'd always be like, nope, do it again. Nope, do it again. Nope, do it again.
It's funny. That's why I quit doing hair, because it's like, nope, do
certain
cut it again,
standards
cut it again.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he
it's
just
super interesting.
it's the way he but I have an appreciation for it now, and I am grateful that he was the way that he was, and that he made me do things that I wouldn't, maybe go through things that, when we were buying the way that business transitioned between generations was we did this buyout, and we had the structure to make payments to him, and
Is that the check I would go drop off?
probably every month, and the recession hit, the great one of 07, 08, and we were in trouble. Like, the business went through some tough times there, and we didn't have the money to make those payments. It was tough. And I asked him, can we delay the payments? Can we put them on pause? Please, we're struggling here. And he said, no, we had an agreement. No, you figure it out. And we had to figure it out. you know, like, cause he wasn't joking. He wasn't like, he didn't need the money. It
He
was
just wasn't
more,
gonna.
it was more the principle of it that he wanted to teach me, like, listen, you know what? Just like the bank's not going to say no. The bank's not going to say, sure, you can pause the payments. You know, he wasn't.
But didn't one time the bank did cover you though?
That was a different problem.
Oh,
Yeah, that was another problem. But
it's just funny. To me.
yeah, that was another one. But you know, he did stuff like that. Like, it was never, you know, we you know, meet a goal or accomplish something, and he was like, well, why isn't it 10 points higher? Why didn't you do 10% better? Like, if you were that good, why did you make the goal so low? You know, it was just always, there was always a stretch that he wanted to do. And it's just like, come on, Dad. Like, literally, like, seriously, like, I'm busting him here. And, you know, it's just the way he was. But I have an appreciation for that now. Like, I hated it at the time. I have notes about, you know, my anger about it,
memories.
my frustration about it. I was like, God, I was just get so frustrated at him. But it made me who I am. And I'm thankful for it. I'm also really grateful to Sebastian because his relationship with his dad, like, really taught me it wasn't just my dad. It's the culture of these, you know, old school Italian men,
boomers,
the way they were. And he busted his ass. I mean, he was very successful and did such a great job. My dad was so talented in so many ways. And, you know, I honor, love, and respect him so much now. And I did even before he passed. You know, I'd gotten to appreciate him even though I went through all that. So I'm blessed to have that.
What's interesting, like hearing you even say that, is because as your daughter, I remember you having to get a loan or something at that time when he said no. And I remember hearing you fucking mad, and you got some insane loan so that we could still, I just remember it. And I remember me being mad at him because I was like, you're not helping my dad. Like, I was mad. And it's interesting to see the other side of it. Like, I never thought about, like, that's just how he was. I just thought he was being mean to you, so it made me mad.
Yeah, and, you know, he didn't shortcut anything. I mean, it's why he was also a great teacher. You know, in teaching haircutting, he didn't accept mediocrity.
No,
he would make them part and over part and section and part. You know, people wanted to start cutting hair. They're like, why do I got to keep sectioning? If you watch one of his videos on Synergy,
It's like,
the comments on the videos are like, all he does is section and part. All he does is section and part because he's sectioning and parting, sectioning and part. And he's combing and over
But it
direction,
looks like
doing
art.
so much.
Yeah.
He that was, you know, he was just such a perfectionist in that. So he demanded a lot of everyone. It was his way. And so little did I know at the time that, you know, he was giving me some invaluable lessons and teaching me things.
well,
That,
and
you know,
maybe that's the reason why we're here today. So
I think a lot of the things that I've had to go through to get to where I am, you know, I'm grateful for the way that he was, you know, even though, like, I didn't like it at the time. It's no different than going to the gym. You know, I don't like going to the gym a lot of the time. The social aspect I like, but the actual working out part I don't always love. What I do love is the elation after. Like, as soon as the workout is done,
oh yeah,
you know, there's no greater feeling on earth. There's no greater peace. There's no greater
like
exhale, high. It is, you know, but I don't love the process of it, but I do love the results, and I love,
Well,
you
the
know, that's why
result, right? That's
I love the, you know, the outcome of the feeling of it after. So I am, you know, I don't have any resentment or regret or, you know, my regret might be that I didn't listen more, that I didn't pay
Right.
more attention
Yeah,
to
I get that.
the opportunity that it was. The things that he had to say were so wise, there was so much wisdom there, so much street smart. He dropped out of school in 8th grade. You know, he didn't have a
didn't
big
know that.
education. You know, he or high school, like middle high school maybe, but
I
he
did
got
not
kicked out of
know
school in
that.
8th grade, I think is what it was, and then he didn't finish high school. But he was so street smart. You know, he's a brilliant guy. You know, just had left
was
right,
street
left brain, right brain. He was so creative and artistic, but also his business sense and his street sense. You know, come on, like, how many people are gonna sell everything that they own in the city of Philadelphia? He had a business. He had a great career. We had a beautiful house. We had a
built a
pool.
name.
We had a
He
pool.
started-
Having a pool in Delco was a big deal. Like, we were like the thing in Delaware County to have a in-ground pool and a game room out there, which you turn the garage into like a poker room. And, you know, we lived in this big house and sold it all and said, we're heading to Florida with no job and no direction at all, you know, coming down to Florida. So there wasn't anything there except he just wanted to be in the sun. He just wanted to be in the sunshine. So that level of courage to just head to Florida in a motorhome without a job and just trusting his own ability, trusting his own, I'll figure it out. It wasn't like he had a lot of money in the bank. They didn't have a lot of money. They spent it on the motorhome that we lived in. In fact, the stories I heard was they ran out of money. That's why we finally had to stop in Naples and get the kids back to school. We needed to start working again to feed us. And feeding us wasn't my problem at 12. You know, that was his problem to figure out how to feed me. So I don't have to worry about it. But, you know, for him to, you know, be able to do that, have the courage to do that, and, you know, be such a pioneer to come to Naples when Naples was nothing on top of that. But he knew it was where he wanted to be.
He didn't care about what people thought about him. He didn't care. Like, he took away the roller sets, you know, like when roller sets were still popular. Like, he just didn't care.
He knew, he could see that, you know, that wasn't the look. You know, you didn't want to always look like that. People still were getting roller sets, but he was like, look, you don't want to look like you're 60. Right. You really don't. You want to look like you're younger. So cut the rollers out. And I don't want our salon to look like we make like you look 60. Right. We want to make you look younger. So we're not doing those anymore. Even though it was the bread and butter, it was a big money maker at the time. And he said, no, we're cutting it out. We'll take the hit. And I'd rather have a reputation for, you know, doing work that's on the edge, you know, cutting edge styles and cutting edge beauty and fashion.
What's interesting is I keep saying this to Robert because, you know, my brother, I've been talking to Robert a lot, and he asks me a lot of questions, and I always say, we should talk to our dad about this, because I want, like, I think a lot, even just in Italian culture in general, or just maybe in any culture period, like, the men with their sons are, like, harder on their sons. Maybe it's just like a boy, I don't know. But I want him, like, so recognizing what you just said, that you wish you would have listened to him, that's where I'm like, that's why I'm like, you guys want to go to breakfast together? Like, I want him.
Yeah, I'm waiting on you to make that happen.
Oh, I know. Then
good. So the offer still stands. So.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, good.
But it's just interesting to recognize.
No, I see why you're doing that, but that's good. We had a good breakfast last week.
I know. I was actually kind of jealous.
You missed a good one.
I was pretty jealous at first. I was like, oh, well, maybe I can go.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't. But I was jealous. They went to breakfast without me. That wasn't the plan. But now we'll do it again. But I want my brother to experience without all the emotion. Like, we're all human beings, you know. So.
Yeah, we're all mortal. We're gonna die.
Exactly. That's gonna happen. So
we don't know when, but it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Who knows? Nobody, you know. Yeah. But so I think that we can wrap this one up. But one time in the next maybe month or so, I want to ask you like RP history questions.
Sure.
But like I have like that's why I was like I can't. It's a list.
Yeah, we'll tell the story about the
that's what I
$95,000 bounce check.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, well, that's a story. That's a big part of our history. $95,000 bounce payroll check. Yeah, that happened for real. Stay tuned.
2001 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, 5/29.
Yeah.
5/29/01.
3 days after my birthday.
Yeah, it was our business version of 9/11.
But you can see all the great things that came out of it.
Yeah, no, it was one of those struggles that got us to where we are. So we'll do that next time.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, thank you, Zach. Thank you. Love my dad. Love my family at RP. Great job.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks.